This episode is made possible by our sponsor, Omega Bright Wellness. I've taken their omega-3 supplements for many years, and so has my wife, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. I'm proud to have them. You can find all of their products online at omegabrightwellness.com, and bright is intentionally misspelled B-R-I-T-E, omegabrightwellness.com. This episode is also sponsored by Landmark College, another institution that I have warm personal relationship with in Putney, Vermont. It's the college of choice for students who learn differently. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell with a mini episode of Distraction. Today I want to talk about memory and stress. You know, stress is this word that gets tossed around, but what we really need to do is distinguish between good stress and bad stress. If you eliminated all stress, your heart would stop beating. You know, you're pumping blood against gravity, and that's stressful. Your muscles, you would collapse in a heap because your muscles would stop bearing the stress of your weight on your bones. You would stop thinking because trying to bring order out of chaos, which is sort of what thinking is all about, is stressful. So without stress, you'd be a blob. You'd be a piece of dirt, and even within the dirt, there's probably some kind of stress going on. So the word stress has received a bad name. Stress is good. Not all stress is good, but the right kind of stress, good stress, pumping iron, practicing the piano, rehearsing the play. These are all examples of good stress. So what you want to do is minimize toxic stress. Now, toxic stress, you can tell the difference simply by its impact. If it gives you a headache, if it makes you sick to your stomach, if you function at a lower level, or if your memory is impaired. These are all signs that you're undergoing toxic stress. And the trick is not to take an anti-stress pill, or to take memory aids, or to somehow apply some Band-Aid. It's to understand the patterns of your life that expose you to toxic stress. You want to preserve the patterns that expose you to good stress, formative stress, helpful stress, stress that leads to growth, but also identify how you get into toxic stress. A good example is maintaining a friendship with someone you don't like, or maintaining a membership in an organization that you don't enjoy, or that just at best bores you. These are what I call leeches in your life. Leeches are people or projects that just aren't worth the time you put in. And a lot of time you do that voluntarily. Well, that's a bad idea because it causes toxic stress. You don't enjoy it. You feel unpleasant. You feel, queasy around the person or around the organization. And yet you keep coming back out of some vague sense of guilt, or what would they do without me, or I don't know how to say goodbye. Get out of those. So the way to deal with that stress is not to take a stress pill. It's to get out. Exit, get rid of leeches, people or projects that aren't worth your time. That will reduce toxic stress in and of itself. You don't want to manage the toxic stress. You want to get rid of its cause instead of putting some kind of Band-Aid on it. You want to manage the cause of the toxic stress, not the symptoms. A lot of people try to address it symptomatically. Try to get to the root cause. Someone you don't like, an organization you don't like, an activity that you're trying to get better at, but you're just not cut out for it. Now that's a tough one because sometimes you should persist. If you're taking up the piano and you want to quit, probably a bad idea. So that's where you want to persist in the stress that feels painful. It's not toxic, though. It's painful. It's hard, but it's not toxic. Toxic means you're filled with shame or dread or depression, or you feel sick, or you get a headache, or you get really tired. Those are all signs of toxic stress. So The mere fact that you feel some pain doesn't mean that the stress is toxic. And then when you're experiencing some of the symptoms, you can do on the spot remedies, deep breathing exercise, quick burst of exercise, take a break, go to the bathroom, splash some cold water on your face, look in the mirror, tell yourself a joke, call up a friend. There are ways of redirecting your attention. But I think the overarching plan for stress management is to promote good stress, minimize toxic stress, and you minimize it by getting rid of the activities, the groups, the people that cause it. Rather than putting Band-Aids on the symptoms, get rid of the root cause. Okay, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell with a mini episode of The Different Faces of Stress. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Omega Bright Wellness. Save 20% on your first order with the promo code DISTRACTION at omegabrightwellness.com. And if you haven't already heard, my new book that I co-wrote with John Rady is out now. Get a copy of it, ADHD 2.0, by clicking the link in the show notes or by going to my website, drhallowell.com. You can also find it wherever, as they say, books are sold. Remember to reach out to us with your questions and comments. Please do this. We love them. We just love them. We lather over them. We cherish them. We hold them to our bosom. By emailing connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. And please give us a like and follow us on social media. Distraction is created by Sounds Great Media. Our recording engineer and editor is the estimable Scott Persson, a man I quite admire. And our producer is the also estimable Sarah Guertin, whom I also quite admire. My name is Ned Hallowell, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. The episode you just heard was made possible by my good friends at Omega Bright Wellness. I take their supplements every day, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. Shop online at Omega Bright, and that's BRITE wellness.com.